So, we need a name for the new coaster. I'll open up the floor. Any ideas? Well, since a ride is made out of wood, I was thinking we could call it Twisted Timbers. Oh, okay. Yeah, I kind of like that. Anything else?
I was thinking something intimidating, like Intimidator.
Okay, yeah. Not bad. Maybe we'll hold on to that one, use it in the future.
What about Hurler?
I'm sorry, what?
Hurler.
Oh, okay. Like vomit?
Yup.
You want guests to think about puking before they even get on the ride.
I'm gonna rank every coaster and give them a review. Every drop and every hill, every launch and every loop. Rate it 1 to 10 and then we'll do it all again. Gonna rank and review every coaster.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Mario. This is a channel all about amusement park type stuff, but mostly coasters. And today in my journey to rank and review every single coaster I have ever been on, we're going to be talking about Hurler at Carowinds. Hurler opened in 1994 as part of the new Wayne's World section of Carowinds, which was owned by Paramount at the time. Paramount also owned King's Dominion, the park that Hurler was originally designed for. King's Dominion would open its identical Hurler roller coaster just a few days after Carowinds. Both coasters featured moderate theming in the station, including trains that were designed like Garth's Mirthmobile. Nowadays, Hurler doesn't have any theming in the station as it is just a hollow metal box. In its youth, Hurler delivered a fast-paced and exciting ride experience full of airtime and lateral G-forces throwing you side to side. But unfortunately, that would not last. In its current state, Hurler is quite a bit toned down. The ride runs considerably slower, resulting in slower pacing and much less airtime along the course. I mean, just look at these two POVs side by side. The one from '94 traverses its layout considerably faster than the one today. However, this is in fact intentional. Wooden coasters are notorious for beating themselves up, and Hurler is no exception. To try and combat rapid deterioration of the track, a trim brake was installed following Hurler's first drop, which would theoretically slow the ride down, thus reducing the wear and tear on the coaster. So speed and fast pacing was traded for the longevity of the coaster. And while I have not ridden Hurler in its original form, I have been on Thunder Run at Kentucky Kingdom. Thunder Run offers a nearly identical layout to Hurler, but its speed is not impacted by a trim brake. And I can say with great confidence that I much prefer Thunder Run to Hurler, despite the coasters being so similar. And in addition to the pacing of Thunder Run being better, it's also considerably smoother. Despite Hurler having that trim brake, the coaster delivers a rough experience. Even though the turns of this coaster are taken at a slower speed than before, you still bump around quite a bit. The seats for this train are thankfully at least pretty soft and comfortable, but the lap bar does kinda stick out into your leg. So on a couple of the rides I got on this coaster, there were a few moments where my leg did bump into the restraint, which was definitely unpleasant. Thankfully, this ride didn't give me a headache, and it was rideable, but it's definitely not the type of coaster that you are going to go on again and again. But now to get a little more in-depth, let's take a look at Hurler's layout. The ride starts off with a slow right-hand turn out of the station and into the lift hill. This will take you up to your modest top height of 83 feet before reaching a top speed of 50 miles per hour. Hurler navigates 3,157 feet of track and spends just about 1 minute getting from the end of the lift hill to the beginning of the final brakes. After reaching your highest point, you will make another right-hand turn, and spoiler alert, this is far from the last right-hand turn. Then you drop down the first drop. This drop is nothing special, but it is also non-problematic. It's just there to get you up to speed. Right after the drop is that infamous trim brake, which you will almost definitely notice slowing you down, before yet another right-hand turn. This turn is incredibly bumpy as the coaster shimmies and shakes the whole way through. With a decent amount of speed, you'll then head into the ride's first set of many hills, and since it's pretty early on in the ride, the hills offer a moderate amount of airtime, giving a nice floating sensation. Now, the bumpiness can actually make that airtime a bit more aggressive, potentially giving you an ejector pop out of your seat. The subsequent turn is a bit slower and less violent than the previous, but it does last considerably longer, so it has that negative going for it. You're just spending more time bumping around less aggressively. Heading into the following hills, you'll experience little to no airtime, as the ride has already started to die down a bit. Right-hand turn number 5 is a lot more tolerable, and you can actually even enjoy some of the forces on this one because of the fact that it is more bearable. Another slow airtime hill does as little as the previous two, followed by the final mild-mannered turn, and one more nothing burger of a not-so airtime hill. So, as you can certainly tell, this has not held up to be one of the better coasters at a park full of great ones. And that leaves us with the question, what's in store for the future of this coaster? This has been a large discussion amongst coaster enthusiasts for years now. Hurler at King's Dominion, Carowinds' sister coaster, has since been completely reimagined. As of 2018, Twisted Timbers has been thrilling riders as a hybrid coaster with its world-renowned Steel RMC iBox track. This coaster offers a completely different layout with copious amounts of airtime, multiple inversions, and a butter-smooth ride experience from start to finish. So, with one Hurler being turned into a world-class coaster, who's to say the second Hurler can't do the same? But to be honest, I don't think it's necessary to make this coaster great again. I think Hurler has a great layout, and if the speed and smoothness could be tweaked a little bit, the coaster would hold its own once again. If you take away the trim brake, replace all the old bumpy track with fresh new track, heck, potentially even that new GCI steel track, and also maybe switch the trains out to something more comfortable, I think Carowinds would have an absolute winner on their hands. And of course, there is always the option of getting rid of the ride entirely, but regardless of what happens to it, I definitely don't foresee Hurler continuing on much longer, at least not in its current state. But now that I've gone all Ebenezer Scrooge on you, what would I rate this coaster? 4.5 out of 10. Even though it isn't too rough for me to ride, it doesn't do a whole lot either. If it were to be improved and offer more than just a couple of moments that are enjoyable, I know that my score would drastically improve with it. As far as where this coaster ranks amongst the 272 coasters that I have been on so far, it sits at 170. I know it might seem a little crazy that I put SLCs above it, but even though those are rougher, they are more exciting. But hey, at least Hurler does have more going for it than Wildcat at Frontier City. So let me know if you guys have been on either of the Hurlers. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe and turn on notifications for more content like this. And make sure to tune in next time where I'll be talking about